Hello, I'm Jon Proxy on the channel Jon of the West. And I'm about to begin a game. A game by this company, Cyan. There you go. Yes, I am about to begin a Myst adventure. Specifically, a realMyst adventure, Masterpiece Edition. What does that mean? You probably know what it means.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed, but I must admit that such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
Right, what was I saying? Yes, what does this title mean? Why is it a realMyst Masterpiece Edition adventure? Well, Myst came out a very, very long time ago. I'm going to guess 95, as in 1995. I'm not entirely sure that's true. Let's click on this book, see where it takes us. See, Myst is a puzzle game. It's a kind of an old-fashioned puzzle game, and some would say obtuse puzzle game. Start of a series of obtuse puzzle games, and I'll be honest, I was slightly too young to play any of them in their prime. But my oldest brother, Adam, he was a really big fan, and I got to watch him play them. And I've played versions of this game before. I was about to say I probably know the first hour, but who knows. But I bought this one recently. It's been remade. It's all 3D now. The original version, I'll click into the game so that you see. The original version was like a series of stills and videos. So you're in a place, and I want to go forwards, and it would zoom forwards. And then you go, I want to go left. So you can go like classic Myst, explore like the original Myst by simply pointing and clicking to move forwards. Hold down to keep moving forwards. I'm going to go on free roam. I'm going to go for the new system. Might as well. Explore anywhere using the standard game navigation keys to turn around. And I think what was one of the things that was fancy about this game was, I think it was CD-ROM. We have hints. How dare. I don't know what the flashlight's all about. Let's save. Oh, it's just telling me what's on the main menu. It's kind of weird. So yeah, it never looked as pretty as this before. How do I... Okay, what? Okay, so I'm using... I can turn my... Yes. Sorry. I can look around by holding down the right mouse button and sort of dragging it around. Otherwise, I guess the left mouse button's for clicking on things. And I can... I wonder if it uses the controller. Oh, now it's just doing as normal. How odd. Okay. So I'm probably going to half remember stuff. Like I played, I think, realMyst before for a few hours a few years ago. The main reason I bought this is actually because I bought the VR game by some of the same people. I've forgotten what it's called now. Abduction. And I recorded a few episodes, and I think my recordings just sort of cursed. They just kept going on. I think I've recorded the first episode of that like 5 or 6 times. I'm not joking about that number, by the way. Like proper recordings. And I figured, you know what, I'm so sick of re-recording the start of that game, I should just play the other games. So what's that there? Let's go in here. See where it takes us. So I don't know how long episodes are going to be. I'm probably going to want to get one of my whiteboards out, because this is a puzzle game. And I'm going to want to take notes. There appears to be... a pool of some sorts. So it's sort of directing my sight towards what I want to see. Possibly it's naturally going to want me to look in the, you know, the allotted directions. Let's click this. Yeah, you see, this is where it wants me to be. Do we have a pool? No, if I press this button, it only clicks. I can't hold it down. Can I click on any of these? We have another button. And it does less than nothing. A little dimple in the wall. Curious about that? There's a bunch of them. Right. I'm hoping... Yes, we do have a run button. What does this say? Topographical extrusion test. I know some of those words. I know the word test. Excrusion. Okay, so X is to take. Right, you inject and you extract. Trution. Well, I know... Topographical. Well, we know what graphical means. Like a topographical map has hills on it, I think. So is this trying to... It's like an excavation? Like, is it... I don't know. Anyway, 40. That's on 40. The marker switch diagram is 47. These pages. And the water turbulent pool. I'm guessing that's a water turbulent pool. 67. Okay. So it's on the water hang on. Well, that's interesting. You know, one thing I never did was just click on the water. Okay, so let's do that again. I legitimately don't remember this. I'll remember the lighthouse, I think. I will remember. I don't know if I know the puzzle, but whatever. I'm going to do the same thing then. So, I don't know how long I want episodes to be. I'm thinking about 35 minutes. I'm just trying to see if there's anything just there. Okay, no. So we're going to turn it to the marker switch diagram. 47. Wonderful. Take a look at that. That's the marker switch. So this is a projector. That still doesn't do anything. So, what's the... Wow, what's 40? It's a mountain. See what the other side does? Inside, inside. I don't know what that means, but I've got an achievement. And presumably a title for the episode. I will need a whiteboard, but I'll just use this one for the time being. Side. Side. Okay. Let's leave this place. Be nice to solve a puzzle, wouldn't it? Well, there's the marker. I don't know what it does yet, so I'm just going to turn it off. Is there any indications of what it might do? I'm not sure. Now, I'm thinking 35 minutes as well because I might get motion sickness from this game. Because it's sort of weird. Okay, there we go. What does... If I... Okay, if I do that, I'm not seeing any difference that this makes. Okay, so let's just... We'll put them back. Okay, what else? I'm going to look at just what's available. Okay, we have a sunken ship. We want that on red. We don't want to make too much differences right now. Keep that on red as well. You know what? Let's not overwhelm ourselves. It's going to be quite important to go to that place there, though. We'll explore this side first. So we have... What is that? An observatory? I really shouldn't go off the beaten path. You know what? This up here makes sense. It's some gears. Okay. Lovely. There is our sunken ship. It's almost like we arrived via there. Okay. Let's go into the observatory or whatever the hell it is next. So, this is the thing where I might know one of the answers. We get into the dentist chair. And we can... We're gonna... Anytime we see a date... Cool. So anytime we see a date, we're going to put it in there. Right? So here's the library. So there is one piece of information I'm not going to be able to unknow. And that is, I know how to finish the game. Now, if I ever reach the end of the game, well, that's a completely different matter, right? But if I do get to the end of the game, I know there's a thing I shouldn't do, and I know there's a thing I should do. Anyway, we're in a library. Isn't that interesting? We have this sort of thing here. What's this? Oh, yes. I remember this. I have no idea what it does, though. Let's put them all back. And I'm going to call that the fireplace so I can remember it. Okay, we have this picture here. Now, as you might expect, we can rotate the... Okay, let's see if that did something. I'm not seeing where a tower would be. The tower is now facing a small island. Okay, I think it might be that. I reckon it's that. Okay, we'll continue the library. Doesn't seem to do anything. Oh, that does do something. Well, presumably it takes us to the tower. You go back. I want those books back, thank you. Can I have the books back? Oh, hang on. Cool. Let's... Red or green? There isn't a green, John. There's a blue. I could have sworn it was red or green. Maybe it was changed. Go for blue. It's more mysterious. What about this red book?
Bring me a red page. I can't see it. I need a red page, you must. Bring.
Right, I'm going to save my game. Can I save my game? How do I... Hey! Right, what's the flashlight? Ah, that's interesting. Question mark? Channel wood? What? I don't know what that means. Okay, I'd kind of like to have the writing on the screen. Advanced. Let's put it on max settings. I feel like I can play on max. Let's not have motion blur on. Oh. Right. Well, I wish I knew that before. Anyway. Yeah, what I was trying to find is a way to have the writing on the screen. I guess that's interactive guides. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay. He wanted me to find more red pages. I wonder if this is going to be similar.
Serious? Are you? See you. Help me. Bring blue pages. Never. Pages. I must have the blue page.
You get the idea. So we got ourselves a mission of sorts. We want some red pages. We want some blue pages. I wonder what for. This says channel wood. I have called this age channel wood, and it is a very different world. Though it is exactly how I imagined it. It's still amazing to see it with my own eyes. Water covers this age as far as I can see, except for the small rocky island elsewhere. There's another title for the episode, isn't there? Elsewhere. Okay. And channel wood. Okay, I'm gonna have to write this all down. There are only trees, which grow directly out of the water. A myriad of thin wooden passages are built just above the water and disappear into the forest. I assume they were built some time ago, but they appear aged. I am eager to discover more about this land and its people, but I have arrived here late and I must rest. I was awakened this morning by strange noises coming from the pathway adjacent to the one on which I had slept. I saw a group of monkey-like people heading in my direction. They had not seen me yet. I did not feel threatened by their presence. Their response to me was one that I would never have expected. After staring at me for a short time, they fell to their knees and began what appeared to be some sort of ceremonial worship. I tried to speak to them, but they did not understand my language. Instead, They indicated through an enthusiastic hand motions that I was to follow them. As we walked, I began to notice that the waters below us were changing colours. Slowly, subtly, they would change from deep blue to muddy orange, then from muddy orange to beautifully clear. Again, I don't have the paper nearby. I have a lot of whiteboards, and I could do with more. I love whiteboards. I'm really into them. Can you be into whiteboards? I like them. Alright, they're useful. Slowly changing colours to all the other colours. I was so intrigued by the water, I'd hardly noticed that we'd arrived at a ladder. Climbing the ladder led us to the village, which is about 10 metres above the water. It can only be reached by rope ladders that stretch from lower paths to the village level, approximately halfway up the grand trees. It was very interesting watching these people carry out their daily tasks, even after watching them for hours. I did not understand exactly what they were doing. At sunset, they motioned for me to follow them. I followed the creatures to the doorway of an enormous hut. Strangely, once inside, I found that the hut appeared even larger than it had from the outside. The walls were garnished with bright metals, and in the centre of the hut sat the leader of these people. At least he appeared to be their leader, for he sat a metre off the floor in a thick throne. Guards surrounded the strong creature, who was dressed in many exotic, colourful fabrics. So, I'm pausing there for a brief second to say I'm going to have to read all this, because this is a puzzle game, it's an obtuse puzzle game, and there might be clues in these books. Next. Also, I'm interested as well. Next to the leader sat a very old human. At least to some extent he appears human. His hair, which was only on his face and head, was completely grey, almost white, and hung very long around his frail body. His thin head hung limply by an almost grotesque neck that could not hold its head up to look at me. But, what a surprise! This creature could speak my language shortly thereafter. I was given a bed with some hand motions, a weird thing for a bed to have, that looked to be telling me to go to sleep. I look forward to learning more. As I suspected, the ancient creature is a human, but he is old beyond his own reckoning, and seems almost insane. However, the tree dwellers almost revere him as a god. They are treating me now in the same fashion, which makes me feel very uncomfortable. It's almost impossible to understand this old man. His voice is feeble but wild. He has adopted much of the language of the tree dwellers. He himself told me that he had not spoken our tongue in ages. He attempted to explain to me the history of this place. The following is my best translation of what he told me. Many years ago, the humans and tree dwellers lived together in this place, which was then a vast island. They interacted very little. The humans dwelt on the ground, and the tree dwellers lived high above the humans. Occasionally, the island was disturbed by mysterious rumblings which happened randomly. Some sort of tectonic or volcanic action, I suspect. The sometimes slight, sometimes heavy tremors would only last a short time, and they would stop, allowing everything to return to normal. One day, things changed. The rumbling began and grew quickly to unprecedented levels. Soon it became apparent that the entire island was sinking slowly into the ocean around them. Many of the humans died that day, but not before sacrificing themselves in order to stop the sinking of the island. The humans who lived through this catastrophe moved into the trees where they gradually died out. Maybe because they were unequipped for such an environment, but I'm not sure. This is the story the old man communicated to me. Although many details are very unclear in my mind, I am especially confused as to how the humans saved the island from completely sinking. In fact, I doubt the accuracy of that part of the story. The island... Bloody hell, this is a lot of writing. The island must have stopped on its own, yet the old man believes the truth of the story as if he'd been there. And the tree dwellers worship him, and apparently all humans, as if they they were heroes or gods. The old man ended our conversation today with an event which I will never forget. He began gripping my hands tightly, murmuring something about the rest and asleep. He then said, "We had expected you to come sooner." These actions filled me with a sort of immediate dread. With much effort, he stood to his feet. I tried to help, but he pushed me away, with more force than I imagined his frail body contained. The tree dwellers quietly surrounded him with very solemn faces. They then kneeled before him. He walked to each and placed his hand on their heads. All the while he murmured words which I did not understand. Finally, he turned to me and smiled. He then closed his eyes and walked out to the door and off the narrow path high. In the trees, I thought that was a full stop there, the tree dwellers were silent, and they began a procession down the nearest rope ladder. As I was descending, I saw several of them pick up the body. It had fallen onto a lower level of walkway, and carry it away. He was laying down at the dead end of a short pier-like structure. With the use of some potion of one of the tree creatures With the use of some potion, one of the tree creatures lit the pier on fire, and I watched him as the flames engulfed him. As the strange funeral proceeded, the waters around the pier changed to a dull green. This morning I awoke, finding it hard to even believe the previous evening's events. The water is a dull green as far as I can see now. For some reason, the water no longer shifts colour. As I wander throughout the pathways, the creatures watch me, curious to see what I will do next. They are constantly offering me strange objects of affection. I even found food outside the doorway to the room in which I had slept. This is a unique race of beings. I hope to learn their language soon, so that I may learn more from them. Okay, we're going to come back to this. We're going to read the rest later. I mean, there's a lot of writing. That's all I'm saying. Some of these are going to be puzzle solutions, but we don't need to read all the books now. Right? There's a lot to do. Oh goodness, even these. Okay, I think they're just... Oh, it's really cool that, like, just all the books. Okay, so, like, obviously I can't do anything with the burned books, but still. But there is a lot of books, a lot of reading to do. That was... Oh, that's cool. It left it on the right page. That was nice of it. The Channel Wood. Age of Myst. Okay. So let's open up the door. And check out the tower. Now let's have a quick look around. Mind ourselves that I do have a run button. Not sure if I want to use it though. I legitimately... Okay. Okay, so we can spin this tower. I'm just not entirely sure why. So there's a key. There's a book. Okay, well, Key in a book. Perhaps I can figure out why key in a book. I was thinking like 35 minutes. I said that before, didn't I? I want to have time between episodes to have a think about things. So I'm not going to rush these out. Some of these puzzles are probably going to require sleeping on the answers, if that makes any sense. And I really should read all those books. Okay. So, if I travel, we're going to check out the Zeppelin. There might be a way of figuring out which direction it's supposed to face. Maybe not. I might just quickly peruse those books for just symbols and stuff. But I think having a look around the rest of the island would be a reasonably good idea anyway. Can I walk up those ladders? I can. That's interesting. Cool. The Zeppelin. This will be our final place, I think. Can I enter the Zeppelin? Hello? Let me in your Zeppelin. Let's return that. Cool. Okay, those pictures of books. They're pictures of books. Okay, but I can tell you one thing. That's a library. That's the book symbol. Ah, you know what? It's fine. That's we're not going to be able to guess that, are we? That's an eye. That's a emu. It's a cross. A leaf. An arrow. Anchor. A bug. A hook. We have... what was this? Okay, this will be the last thing then. But also I'm going to need to recover because, yeah, this will give me motion sickness. Or simulation sickness. Oh, look at this. Right, I've broken it. Okay. So what I've done is I've overloaded something. Okay. I need to figure out A, how to reset that, and B, I need a piece of paper so I can note all those numbers. Oh, god damn it. Power to ship. How do I reset this then? Right, well, I'll have to reset that. Will that do that? I said I'd let you go. Okay, how do I reset this? Right, I'm going to let you go here. I've been Jon Proxy on channel Jon West. I've been having a Myst adventure. A real Myst masterpiece of edition adventure.